Good morning, family, and welcome to today's lesson for life. Today is Sunday, August 16, 2009. It's today we're reading 2 Kings chapter 8. And today I especially encourage you to read the chapter for yourself, see what you get from it, email us and put it on the blog, because lessons for life today is not even going to come from the chapter, but really a lesson I got as I was even reading this chapter. And normally what I do in the morning time is sometimes before I even roll out of the bed is I'll grab the Bible and I'll read the chapter for the day, so it's the first thing that actually gets in my mind in the morning, and then I may end up doing the lesson sometime later on in the morning. But the first thing I put into my mind is really the scripture that I read. And it's funny because I was even talking to Jason a little bit earlier today about make sure he prioritizes the different things he has to do during the daytime. And this morning I didn't actually read the scripture as the first thing, and as I was reading it, it kind of hindered me from reading some of the things that I wanted to read. So the lesson, or I wanted to get from the chapter, or I could get from the chapter. So a lesson I even wanted to share is just even how we should go about reading the scriptures, making it be the first thing that's on your mind in the morning time before you have go on the phone, before you watch TV, before you have a conversation with other people. Just read the scriptures so that God can speak to you first, which is the best conversation you want to have in the morning time anyway, where you're allowing the Lord to speak to you, even if it's quiet time or whatever. So that's a lesson I got even as I was reading this chapter today, because I was kind of preoccupied with the thought of what I let get in my mind before I even started reading the chapter for today. So like I said, we want to, before we go and start whatever it is that might get to distract us, we want to let that word of God be the first things our mind is able to meditate on in the morning time, so we can get what we need to get from the chapter, from the scriptures. Now, I read it again afterwards, and was talking about some different things in there with Gehazi and even with Elisha. And there's another lesson I got from reading this chapter, but like I said, the lesson I wanted to bring up was just about how we should go about reading scripture, how you should go about reading scriptures too, letting that be the first thing that really gets that impression on your mind in the morning time. But there's certainly other things you can get from this chapter, so I encourage you today especially, read it for yourself so you can get the lesson for today's chapter. But that lesson overall about letting that be the first thing that enters into your mind is a great lesson in itself too. So with that, create yourself a wonderfully blessed day today, and we'll talk again tomorrow.